it's just become part of my DNA now. This is just what I do. Like I tell people this and they think I'm nuts, but I look forward to getting up at 4 a.m., have my coffee, have my breakfast, and coming in here, right? Yeah. Driving in for the 40 minutes just gives me clarity as far as some thinking time, some me time, and then I come in here and just get it done. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's no longer I have to work out or I don't feel like you have those days you don't feel like coming in, but I genuinely look forward to doing this. Yeah. It's my favorite part of the day.
Oh yeah, here we go.
You got a favorite quote, Tyler?
Oh man, a favorite quote. Like inspirational or just like anything. I'll get back to you on that one. I don't have anything at the moment. Oh yeah, Tony. You know what they say about the last set, Tony? It's the best set, Tony!
Ah, Tyler.
Yeah, Tony!
It's also the only one that counts.
Yep. There's the quote. Last set, the best set.
Oh, what else did you say?
Roll the buttons. Word on the street is you have beautiful front squats.
Will, what's your first memory of Tony and what's your favorite memory of Tony?
Well, I remember when Tony was quite large, but still full of giggles. I would have to say that's my favorite memory of him. Now he's just kind of a jerk.
Wow.
Walking around, he's a bully, pushes people around. So yeah, my favorite memory is when Tony first walked in here.
You called me a bully. Did you tell him?
This is definitely not making it to YouTube. I would say one of my favorite memories of Tony is actually today. Since he's mic'd up, he hasn't been trash talking me as much. He's actually been keeping it under control. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. We should mic him up every day.
Tyler.
Yo!
What's your first memory of Tony and what's your favorite memory of Tony?
Oh, favorite memory of Tony.
And your first time that you remember of him.
First time I remember Tony coming in. Not to be mean to him, but he was looking a little out of shape. I remember him first coming in. I was like, okay, all right, we got work to do here. But he quickly turned himself around. He went from 0 to 100 in terms of like mentality and what to do. Ladies first, indeed. It will be a ladies first situation on the Metcon here, guys. So yeah, judges, just remember Tony thinking, oh, this man's got to put in some work. And sure enough, he did. Hard, too. Favorite memory of Tony? What's my favorite memory of you, Tony? I don't know. There's been a lot of good memories. I wouldn't say there's a particular favorite Tony moment. Mm-hmm. They're just every day with Tony is a great day. There's some moments better than others. Yeah.
That's a crowd pleaser.
My favorite, not particular memory, but the Will-Tony rivalry is one of my favorites. The Will-Tony rivalry. Oh yeah, the Will-Tony rivalry might be.
I thought they were pretty buddy-buddy.
They are buddy-buddy, but there's a rivalry there for sure at the same time. So that is, it's not necessarily a moment, but it's my favorite Tony aspect. It's a good one.
That's true. Will did like X my name out right over here. Well, I would take this spot all the time, right? And then one day he came in early, and he's like, Tony, it's my spot, and he put a round chalk line, Tony, and an X through it. Same number of cows?
Same number of cows.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't beat this guy. I mean, this is Will, ultimate CrossFit. Look at this.
Singles, Tony.
He knew he was going to be.
Yeah. This is. I know. He brought the fire today.
Will especially.
All right,
Hey, Will, you got any inspiring thoughts for us rookies?
Oh yeah. You know, just go out there, give it 105%. Don't stop. Skip really quickly. Smooth rowing, but fast rowing. The skipping is where you're going to catch your breath. Okay.
So every time I look at Will, he's smiling at me.
Will's always smiling at everybody. We've tried to get him to jump on Instagram, but he refuses. I think he's waiting for Instagram to approach him for some kind of contract. Will, false start. He's got a calorie advantage. Will!
Who's your favorite at the gym, Tony?
Who's my favorite?
Yeah. My favorite person? Coach Dan, of course.
What's up, YouTube? We're back. Coach Dan's in the house here at Radix Gym, and today we got a special member spotlight with Tony. So you're gonna get to see Tony work out today, see kind of how well he moves and how far he's come. But I want to tell the story from the beginning, so you guys know that it's not everybody. When you show up in a gym, everybody who's fit didn't automatically just wake up like that one day. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of time and effort to get to that point. But if you want to put in that hard work, time and effort, and have somebody who knows what they're doing lead you along the way, then the results can be unbelievable and life-changing all at the same time. So Tony is our case study here.
Greetings and salutations.
Yeah. So Tony, how long have you been here now?
October 24, 2022 is day one.
Well, you can see how
18
much of an
months.
impact it's made in his life. He knows the exact day. So 18 months. Awesome. So Tony came here October 24th, 2022.
Yeah.
That's actually my best friend's birthday.
Nice.
So shout out, Mike. So Tony came here. He had heard me on a podcast. We had worked together before COVID kind of struck everybody's lives into disaster, whether it was financially or just your health, mentally or physically, or both, or all three for some people. And so he heard me on a podcast and was like, you know what, it's time to get back at it. Am I right? Yeah.
Yep.
So he contacted me and I was like, listen, I got this 8-week challenge that we run. We're going to get your nutrition set up. We're going to get your workouts going again, get you involved in the community, and let's get this thing going. So Tony came in, did his initial scan with us. You were
204 and a half.
204 pounds at, what's your height?
On a good day, I guess 5'7" and a half. Probably
give him-
5'7" for real.
We'll give him 5'7" and 3/4.
Right.
So 205, 5'7".
35% body fat.
35%
and 72
body fat.
pounds of fat.
Yeah, so the scan gave him a little bit of a wake-up call, and from there we got to work. How many 8-week challenges did you do in a row?
So that was 2 weeks before my birthday. Did the first one October to like before Christmas.
That's right.
And then I don't know, I think you said take a week break or something. Then did another one, and
Yeah.
then did another one. So
it's 3.
must have been 3. Yeah.
So he did 3 8-week challenges. So 8 weeks, if you don't know, is 2 months. So that is 2, 4, 6. It's half a year.
April, yeah.
Yeah. So he spent half a year, and including that little break we had, he asked me to like give him a diet to follow throughout the holiday season, which he followed. We went 6 months straight, and he didn't really mess up at all. Now, with any type of weight loss journey, especially if you're trying to gain muscle and get fit and stuff like that, it's not a continual road of just like losing weight consistently. It's like a graph that looks something like that. And there's bumps and there's stalls, and sometimes it even goes up a little bit for whatever reason. But the big thing is that you just keep doing it and stay consistent with it. So over the 6 months, he went from 35% body fat down to 9% body fat.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
we'll clip in the before and after photos so you guys can see what he looked like that nobody believes he used to look like, that even the
Photoshopped and steroids, baby.
yeah. Even the people at his work forgot what he looked like after a couple months when they saw those photos. So 34% to 9%, 6 months, and then now we're a whole year after that 6 months later, and he's maintained all the weight loss. He's built muscle. He's in the best shape of his life, and I think that's even so many people have done big weight losses and then you never hear from them or see what they've done again. But the testament is that it's a year later and he's still where he was at that point at the end, and even better off now because he's stronger, has more muscle, and is in better shape. So I just wanted to let Tony explain to you how that process worked along the way and his kind of journey from 34 to 9%, and hopefully give you a little bit of motivation if this is your time to do something like that yourself. So Tony,
for sure.
Take it away. 35%.
Yeah, 35%.
How'd you feel?
It was, it was before my birthday was on November 9th, so I reached out to the coach. Day one was October 24, but I think I reached out to you maybe in September or something when you threw out the ad that you're starting up a challenge, and I thought, 49 going on 50 in about a month. There's no way that I can continue this path, so I signed up. I didn't ask him how much it was either. I just figured, you know what, let's
Best kind of clients. What is your health worth to you?
Yeah, and truthfully speaking, if I knew what the result was going to be, because I didn't fathom that I'd get to this point, to be honest with you. Didn't think it was ever possible. But anyway, trusted the process. We started.
Just before, if you knew what the results were before, how much more would you have been willing to pay?
You'd be rich, you'd be retired, you'd be on that farm because everybody would be like getting a second mortgage to cover your costs.
Yeah, see? The worth of your health is so much more. And if you're fighting to save a couple extra bucks because you don't want to spend it on a trainer or somebody who can help you with that, then you're missing out. Don't order the caramel macchiato. Hire somebody who can help you change your life.
Oh, like just on that, now I'll get to the story in a second, but if you go for, I stopped drinking as well, right? So how much you spending on alcohol? How much was I spending on alcohol? Family, myself, my wife, not my kids. How much I'm spending at drive-throughs. I work in an office, so typically lunch would be 10 minutes before lunch. What do you guys want to eat? Harvey's, Subway, go to a local restaurant. You're going to drop at least, I don't know, $30, $40, $50, $70, depending on where you go, right? Plus the cost of alcohol, plus the time that you have to factor that you're going away from the office as opposed to doing all your meal prep, getting all that ready to go. A lot of folks talk about the time drag on, I don't have time to cook, I don't have time to meal prep, I don't have time for this, that, and the other thing, right? And while you're doing it, it feels like, oh man, this is taking so long. But honestly, Sunday morning, I get probably the better part of half of my meals for the week done in about 2 hours, and I'm done. Everything's packed in the fridge, in Tupperwares, everything's ready to go. Every morning, this morning, you go look at my car, I got my lunch bag, and it's just a bunch of Tupperwares with exactly what I'm going to eat right up until my evening meal when I get home.
And you just saved yourself all kinds of time throughout the week too, right?
Yep, throughout the week, yeah.
And travel or figure out, or even that, when you're having that interesting conversation with your wife about what to eat and nobody knows what to eat and everybody's getting mad at each other because they're getting hangry.
And then a pizza commercial comes on, it's like, all right, let's
Pizza's
order the pizza,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I started out, like I said, a few weeks before my birthday. Portuguese, going to be 50 years old, had a big family gathering. I had baked salmon and steamed vegetables, while everybody else had the Portuguese chicken, the deep fried filet of sole, plus the pastéis de nata for dessert and all the good stuff, and the wine was flowing. But it was a decision that I had made that I was going to stop drinking. I was going to get fit. I was going to start eating properly, and I was going to come to class every single day. And I wasn't going to allow one day, one event, to throttle that progress. Because no matter what, there's always going to be an event. There's always a birthday. There's always a buddy's anniversary. There's always a work event. Christmas was coming up, so I take my staff out for lunch. My boss takes me out for lunch. We get together with friends and family. So there's all kinds of reasons not to eat properly or healthy. So it's just a matter of making a decision that you want to do it for yourself, and that's what I did. That I did not want to go back to the way it was, right?
That's one of the biggest things people with the 8-week challenge tell me is like, oh, I want to do it, but I have this coming up. I want to do it, but that's coming up. Listen, there is something every 2 weeks of your life for the rest of your life. So if you can't figure out how to live healthy and eat and enjoy yourself around those social circumstances, then you're going to be in big trouble. So the best time to start is right now, and probably when something big's coming up, so you learn how to navigate those circumstances. And that's exactly what you did, right?
Yeah.
And just get ready for some criticism. People who are watching you do something good for yourself and have insecurities about how they treat themselves, those insecurities will come out from them and be projected on you, and you just have to be okay with the fact that Nona doesn't want a skinny grandchild, and
that's so.
she's gonna
and
try to
that's-
stuff
yeah.
pasta down your throat.
Yeah, and that's so true, because initially it's, there's Tony the fat guy. He's losing weight. It's really cool. Everybody's, rah rah rah. And then a few months into it, it's like, oh man, when are you going to quit the diet? Like, I'm not going to quit. This is it, right? This is how I'm doing it. And then I start realizing that the way I eat starts making people feel uncomfortable, because then they feel like maybe they shouldn't have that extra piece of bread. They shouldn't have that glass of wine. And then I realize that they're looking at me for approval or for me to comment. And listen, you do you, man. If you want to eat the way you want to eat, you go for it. But I'm going to continue doing it the way I want to, right?
That's exactly the way.
So it almost became a situation where it was uncomfortable for me, because I realized I was making people uncomfortable. But I'm just doing it because that's how I'm living. That's how I'm eating, right? So it was challenging for sure. Within those first couple of months, I had a work trip. I had to go out to Montreal. We've got an office out there, so I thought, okay, I could fly there real quick, or I could drive there, pack the car with the cooler, the hot plate. I bought an induction frying pan.
I have a picture of it.
I asked the coach, listen, is there any way that you can get the YouTube class, the 6 a.m. class on Zoom, so that I can get the class on Zoom at the hotel gym, and I can follow along. So sure enough, him and Rach, they hooked me up with Tyler. So 6 a.m. I was at the downstairs gym with Tyler screaming. Every once in a while, some of the members would come through, hey, Tony, right? And I still got the workout in. After that, I did my walk, because at that time I was still doing, I was doing consistently 15,000 steps. So I'd work out, get my steps in, have my breakfast, go to the office, and do my thing. So
You won the step challenge, eh?
Yeah.
During the 8-week challenge.
Will, against Will.
Against
Will, I beat you. I beat you, Will.
During the 8-week challenge, I had a 1 week where I was giving away a box of electrolytes, and to the person who did the single most amount of steps in one day. How many steps did you take that day? I think it was like close to 40,000.
I don't remember, man. I started early in the morning, and I kept on going. I remember he messaged me. He's like, dude, just, take it easy. You don't want to hurt yourself. You want to be ready to go for 6 a.m. the next day, because it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, I'll be damned if I'm going to lose to Will.
So he did like 40,000 steps in a day. 20,000 steps is a lot. 40,000 is obviously
It was
double
a
that.
lot.
That's like, if you're on one of those Italian vacations and you just walked all day long, it's pretty much what that is. So
Yeah, it was a lot of
you want
steps.
some
but-
electrolytes.
Yeah, but I mean, it was more bragging rights,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The electrolytes were the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I continued through my when I started through here, I saw these guys, the OG corner over here with these guys like popping all kinds of crazy weight, and I thought, here's Tony with the 2.5 pound weights with the training barbell and the whole thing. I could barely lift my head, much less a barbell with weight. But yeah, I just continued doing it. I know I look like a freak of nature doing it, but I figure I'm just going to continue doing it, because it can't get any worse. Skipping was with those training ropes.
Yeah, we had those training RX ropes where it's just like a little nub, so you get the feeling of what it's like to skip and jump and time it, but you don't have to worry about tripping up every time. You use those for a long time.
Oh, this beginning of this year, I thought, you know what, I'm going to learn how to skip. It's time, right?
Yeah.
So
Then he did 300 single unders
every morning
for months.
Every morning I'd be in that corner, and for the first week I had a bunch of members come through, try this, do this, and like all of the tips were, and I thought, this is just mind overload. Like trying to figure out where the legs go, where do you look, legs straight, legs bent, arms near the body, so much of it, but just a rhythm thing, and then I finally got it, right? So that was...
and that's cool, because now you see in the workout he did today, you'll see the highlights, he was skipping away.
Double unders next.
Double unders is the next goal.
Yeah. So
what happened after that first, like we got to the Christmas time, and he was like, we're doing the next one, but what do I do in between now and then? And so I gave him how to navigate Christmas time. And again, like he had a very specific goal of what he's trying to do. And, sometimes I can seem like a drill sergeant with how I, program things and tell people what to do. But I told them to enjoy Christmas a little bit, you know. But you just don't want to blow things out of the water to the point where you have to go back 3 weeks, you know, and spend the first part of the new year trying to undo what you did during Christmas. So there's a way to navigate it and have a good time and actually feel better. Most people leave Christmas time feeling like absolute trash.
Yeah.
And that's why I make a lot of money in January, but it doesn't have to happen that way, and you can learn how to navigate it properly and feel good and still enjoy yourself. So he did that, and then we hopped back right into the next 8-week challenge, and then by that time, like, the habits had been formed, right?
Right.
Like, now it's like more autopilot as far as like Sunday's meal prep, and, you know, and I'm doing, like, he doesn't have to do the thinking. I'm doing the thinking part of it, of, you know, designing, you know, what his macros should be like in the meals and stuff like that. And once in a while he'd be like, hey coach, I really like grapes, so I'll throw grapes in the meal plan. Stuff like that. But, you know, we had a plan, and it was working, and we just kept to it. The other thing is, he was traveling. We're in Oakville. He's in Maple, which is what, 45 minutes away?
It's a 40-minute drive door to door at, you know, 10 to 5 in the morning with no traffic.
So he's traveling 40 minutes. I'm sure there's about 50 gyms in that 40 minutes that he passes.
Yeah.
But he found what worked, and he found a community of people who were supportive to what he was doing. And so just keep doing it.
Yeah, a lot of it's the support. Like with the 8-week challenge, it was we had weekly weigh-ins. Saturday morning we'd come in and seeing the progress of the other guys and gals, and just talking through, you know, he mentioned it earlier, progress wasn't linear. So we had some ups and downs. There's some wins and losses on the scale, but, you know, one of the things that sticks in my mind is, you know, that the number on the scale isn't the ultimate number. It's what have you done in between those weigh-ins, and if you've trusted the process, if you've done everything that you're supposed to be doing, your body's going to naturally adjust. It may not be an adjustment that you like or this you see on the scale, but knowing that I didn't cheat, I didn't fuck up, and and I continued measuring and weighing all my food. I knew that the week after, the number's going to come in line.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it did. Like, I was talking to Rich the other day, and one of the things that I mentioned to him, I said, like, the number isn't the be-all and end-all. It's a matter of just make sure you're doing what you need to do for every meal, for every workout, and the number will end up being what you want it to be. Probably exceed where you want to be, because the number I had in my head was 180 as a weight.
And we ended up at 160.
I'm sitting right now like 159, 160.
160, yeah. So there you go, right? Like, it's better than you ever thought it would be. And a lot of people just don't know. Like, if you haven't been in a single percentage body fat range before,
See you, Will.
then you just don't know what your actual weight is around that, you know. But what you do know is that somewhere, you know, for him, he thought in his head around 180 he'd be healthy, and I think he would be, but it wouldn't be prime. So I think we kind of found what's the optimal weight and body fat percentage for Tony. But again, that took half a year of pure dedication to do and figure out, right?
It's interesting though, because the real win is mentally, and the adjustment that I have in terms of how I perceive food, how I perceive working out. Like, a lot of guys that I talk to, it's like, oh man, just finished work, I got to go to the gym. And for me, and it's not because he's sitting beside me, I look forward to, I mentioned it to you, Harrison, earlier, I look forward to the 4 a.m. start, because it's me time, you know, hit the coffee pot button, let the dog out. It's that routine, prep the meal bag, jump into the car, throw on the favorite tunes, and it's just me time for those 40 minutes. I don't see it as a commute. I see it more as just prepping for the day type of situation. Right? And that's what's evolved over this last year and a half, not just physically. It's what you don't bargain for is the mental win, where you're sharper at work, you feel better at home, all around you feel like $1 million, because every morning you wake up and you realize, you know what, let's just do it again. It's a great spot to be in mentally, because it does make you stronger. And I've had some shitty days. I've had some really challenging days, and you push through it because you just come in and it just becomes part of your routine. It's part of your DNA now, part of my DNA.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it shows you that, like, it's not that Tony's not special, but you don't have to be.
Tony's not special.
Yeah, you don't have to be special. There's nothing.
Ask my wife.
Yeah, there's nothing. You know, he didn't grow up in a military family with a Navy SEAL father who instilled some crazy discipline in him. He decided that this is what he wanted to do, and he stuck with it long term. And because of that, he built all these good habits and this mental fortitude that most people will live their whole life and never have. So that's kind of the really cool part of it all, is like what started out as, you know, a journey to lose weight became a complete evolution of who Tony is. And he's not nearly the same person who he used to be on any type of level. And those are the changes that are lifelong and that will not only impact him, but impact everybody around him. And that's the kind
and
of
on that note, one of the cool things is, you know, I see my son, you know, I finish weighing my food and he's like, "Pops, you done with the scale?" He's weighing his food, right?
Yeah, see?
And other people are now, you know, coming through and sort of asking, you know, what am I eating and when do I eat and what kind of supplements do I take and all this stuff, right? Or every once in a while, you know, you see somebody that you haven't seen in the gym and they just walk up to you. You don't really know them, or I don't really know them. And they say, "Hey, I saw your podcast. I jumped on the 8-week challenge. Thank you very much." Like that right there, that's a huge payoff, right? Because they're doing something for themselves, and that was piggybacked off of something they saw here at the gym at Radix, right? So, and it's good for guys, girls, like anybody, any age group, right? So,
And that's what it should be all about, is taking your experiences and letting them transform other people's lives for the better. And then humanity could be a whole better place in general, as if we all just looked out for each other and made sure that we take our experience and make somebody else's experience better in their life in all ways. So, Tony, man, amazing. Super
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Appreciate it, Coach.
I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon, so maybe we'll check in, we'll do a yearly update, more muscle, more fitness. He's done 2 Murphs now, so
Working on the third.
Working on the third. If you guys like what we're doing, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave Tony a comment, congratulate him. It's cool for Tony to see. It's also good for our algorithm, so we can get more views on these videos. And we'll catch you guys next time.
It's a matter of visualizing where you can get to, but not focusing on that end result, because if you just look at that, then you think, okay, it's impossible, I'll never get there. So it's just about, for me, it's always been about just chipping away, just the process, and just one meal at a time, one workout at a time, and getting it done. All right.